She runs a company called Do What You Love. It produces and delivers life-changing online courses, helping thousands of people in over 70 countries. She's a mom to 2 sweet girls, and her forthcoming book is called Freedom Seeker, and it's about living more, worrying less, and doing what you love. It's being published by Hay House, by the way, which is the world's most successful publisher of mind, body, spirit books that change our lives. All the way from England, please welcome my dear, brave-hearted friend, Beth Kempton.
You're gonna kill it.
Can you imagine if there was a secret to talking to anyone about anything, even the hard stuff? What would that mean for your relationships with your boss, your business partner, your parents, your children? What if there was a secret that would allow you to voice your opinion even if you knew that it was going to be challenged? To speak your truth out loud? Or to admit that you have creative ideas, good creative ideas, and to share them with the world? What if there was a secret that would give you permission to tell someone that you love them for the first time? Or that you have big dreams and you are going to make them come true? What a secret that would be. Well, when I packed to come here, I brought that little secret on the plane with me all the way from England, and I'm going to share it with you today. But first, I want to tell you a story. Earlier in my career, I spent several years working for UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, which is an incredible organisation based just over there that works all over the world, but particularly in developing countries, to help children achieve their full potential. When I was there, I went on 17 field visits to some of the most challenging environments on the planet. I spent time in schools, in communities, in hospitals, in homes, with people who frankly had every reason to be afraid. In Brazil, I met children with guns, small people who carry big weapons around with them. In Mozambique, I met children with no parents, whose communities had been decimated by the HIV and AIDS pandemic. In India, I met children with jobs, 5-year-olds who would get up in the morning and instead of going to school, would go to the coal mine and pick up scraps of coal to sell to put food on their family's table. In South Africa, I met children in prison. I went into the prison to sit down with young offenders who'd got sucked up into gangland life and had spent their whole lives knowing nothing but violence. And in Thailand, I met a 7-year-old girl who'd lost 12 members of her family and seen her school and home washed away in the Asian tsunami. So I have had a lot of very difficult conversations. But it wasn't until one day when I was in Zambia, in the African nation of Zambia, in a city called Chipata, when I had a completely joyful experience. It wasn't until that moment that I realized just what all those children had been teaching me. That very secret. So I want you all to come with me on a journey to Chipata now so I can share it with you. Here we are in the city. I'm here with a well-known actor and a TV crew, and we're here to make a film about girls' education. We've spent our morning with a really sweet young girl called Margaret, who lives here in this tiny 2-roomed house with her mother and 6 siblings. They're all inside, but as you can see, the windows are really small, so there's hardly any light. So when the film crew showed up, they realized that they need to take all their equipment inside to do the interview, which means there's no room for me. So I'm stuck out here, but I don't care. It's a beautiful day, and I'm going to take a walk in Margaret's neighborhood and see the kind of place that she lives in. And so I do. The sun's shining, I'm feeling proud of the work that we're doing, I feel like my job's valuable, and I'm in a really good mood. And I'm exploring this neighborhood, and I come to a clearing. It's about half the size of a soccer pitch, and it's surrounded on all sides by these tiny houses, just like Margaret's. There's not a soul in sight. It's just me. I guess it's like I'm on a village green, except there's no grass. It's all just bare orange earth. And then out of the corner of my eye, I spot a stick on the floor. Just a normal stick, like a fell off a tree stick. But there's something about this stick, and I am drawn to it. And for some reason I completely don't understand, I go and pick it up. And it turns out this stick has magical powers. Because before I know it, it has completely taken control of my body, and with no conscious effort from myself, I'm conducting an invisible orchestra. And then it takes over my legs, and I'm skipping around on my own in the middle of this random community looking like an idiot. I have no idea what I'm doing. But then I hear a sound from behind me. Bare feet on the earth, and it's a small boy, and he's looking at me. Confused, obviously. And it's one of those moments, I'm halfway through skipping along, and everything goes into slow motion, and I realise I've got a decision to make. Over here, I'm thinking, drop the stick, run away, you look ridiculous. But in here, I'm thinking, just smile at him and see what happens. And thankfully, I went for the second option, and I looked at him, and I smiled, and beckoned him over. And what do you know? He's got a magic stick too. And off we go. And then there are two of us. And then the most extraordinary thing happens. Faces start appearing in the doorways of these houses. A little girl emerges over there. Two boys over there. Another friend. Boys, girls, big, small. Before I know it, there are 50 or 60 children behind me. I'm like the Pied Piper of Chipata. It's amazing. And then, because I'm still holding my stick, it tells me to change the game. And so I do the universal sign of silence. Shh. You know how kids love that. Shh, shh, shh. And then I'm tracking a lion. I'm down low. I'm quiet. Just check they're all doing the same. Not a sound from any of them. I'm stealthy. I'm moving slowly. I can see him over there. And then I stop. And I turn. And I become the lion. And the poor little mites, they all jump out of their skin. They're terrified. And then they roll about laughing like it's the most hilarious thing they have ever seen. And then they're back up on their feet and they're begging me to do it again and again and again. And we just go on and on like this. And it's just the best afternoon ever. And not a word has passed between us. I don't speak their language, Ngoni, and they hardly speak mine. And yet we've had this amazing connection, this amazing experience, just because I spoke from here, and so did he. And I understand that that's quite a random example of how it can work when you speak from your brave heart with courage, but it works in real life. I have a toddler. She's a smart, sweet, beautiful little girl, and most of the time she's all sorts of fun, but she's a toddler, so she has tantrums, as I'm sure many of you understand. And when she has a tantrum, there is absolutely no reasoning with her. If I try and talk to her from here, it becomes this whole thing of, why is she doing this? Why am I so terrible? Such a bad mother that I make her do this. Why won't she be quiet? It's so embarrassing. I'm in the middle of the shop and she's having a meltdown. And we just feed each other when I talk from up here where the ego lives. But when I check myself and I speak to her from here and I come down low and I look at her and I let her know that I see her and I'm here with her and we're going to work this out, then it's completely different. And it works in business too. My company is an online company, so I spend a lot of time on email. And not long ago, I got an email from someone, and it was frankly outrageous. It was disgustingly unprofessional, and it made me mad. You know, when you can just feel the anger rising, and it's just toxic, and it's like in the air, and you're breathing it, and you're just getting more and more stressed. And all you want to do is hit reply and just write something equally rude back to them. But thank goodness, I checked myself. And I was like, well, what if I sat here and responded from here? Because I have a brave heart, and I know that she does, even though that's not what wrote the email to me. And so I did, and I sent it off, and I felt so much better. And I went about the rest of the day relaxed, none of that toxicity in my day. And then the next day I went to work, And there was an answer waiting for me. I hadn't even thought about the fact that she might answer me. So with some trepidation, I opened it up, and I couldn't believe what I saw. She said to me, "My business has grown so fast recently, I don't know how to handle it. I'm being asked to do things that I don't understand. I'm making decisions that I'm not qualified for, and I'm making a lot of bad judgment calls. And the way that I wrote to you was a bad judgment call, and I'm sorry." Wow. Speaking from my brave heart not only made me feel better, it was an invitation for her to do exactly the same thing. It was amazing. And you know what? Just this morning, I went to Starbucks, and I got my breakfast, and I was standing in the queue, and I was checking my email on my phone, and this guy just leaned over my shoulder, and he went, "That's really, really small writing on that phone. How on earth do you read that?" So normally, I'm quite a busy lady, so when I get a moment to check my email, I don't normally interact with other people, and I normally just go, "Huh," and walk away. And I'm English, right? So shy and retiring. But I thought, today I am talking about speaking from a brave heart. What if I do that right now? So I turned to him and I said, "You know what? At university, I studied Japanese. And it was before digital dictionaries, and I used to sit down with this giant kanji dictionary, and the characters were 25 strokes, with this small, and I kind of got used to it." And he just went, "Ah." And I walked off. And I'm just sitting over here drinking my coffee, and he walks up to me again, but not in a creepy way or anything. He just walks over and he's like, "I've just remembered, my second cousin's children grew up in Japan." And then we get into this conversation. Turns out this guy's completely fascinating. His dad is 99, drives a Mini Cooper, and was a physicist with Einstein. He's clearly a multi-millionaire. He's just sold 7 businesses in the Boston area. He's an art dealer, and he's clearly got a lot of money. And he said, I had all this money, and I've just got rid of it, and I'm kind of walking around New York, and I don't really know what to do. As in, I don't know what to do today, but also I don't know what to do with the rest of my life. And I said, "That's really funny, because I run a company called Do What You Love." Clearly, we were supposed to talk today. And it's magic when that happens. There are 8 million brave hearts walking around outside those windows here in New York City. There are 7 billion brave hearts on this planet. Can you imagine how different the world would be if we spoke brave heart to brave heart every day? How different our school system, how different our relationships, how different our politics would be if they had that conversation? But it starts with us, with me and with you. And for that reason, I brought you a present. And I'm going to call on my good friends here to pass them out to you. You each have your own magic stick. And it's not just any stick, it is a stick that I picked for you from Central Park here in New York City. But it's also a stick that can summon courage. And this is really, really important. You need to look after this stick. And every time you're feeling small, or that ego is trying to talk, just look at your stick and summon that courage. Because when all the time, every single day, every hour, every minute, every interaction, every thought, the ego and the soul are doing battle. When courage is absent, the ego keeps on winning. But when you summon courage, the soul wins every time. And the soul speaks through your brave heart. So now you know. That's the secret. You just need to show up with your brave heart, let it speak, and magic will happen. Thank you.
I feel extremely motivated to kind of make my life what I want of it, and for that I'm really grateful.
Follow Beth's blog and her story. So I came in sort of with an open mind, just come and see how it went, and then actually I'm going to leave much more inspired than I thought I would come.
It's so inspiring in a way that hit different parts of my life. I did not expect it. It blew me away.